All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I'm Sunil Verma and with me is VC Pramod. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds second India-Australia virtual summit with his Australian counterpart Scott Morrison. The two countries agreed to boost cooperation in crucial areas like critical minerals, water management and education. India and US reaffirmed their commitment to a free, open, inclusive, peaceful and prosperous Indo-Pacific. BJP retains Uttarakhand and Goa Chief Ministers for second consecutive term. Prasar Bharati signs Memorandum of Understanding with Australia's public service broadcaster to boost cooperation. University Grants Commission makes common entrance test mandatory for all central universities. World Water Day is being observed today. In the Women's World Cup, match between India and Bangladesh underway at Seddon Park in Hamilton. And in Swiss Open Badminton, PV Sindhu, Saina Nehwal and Kidambi Srikanth to begin their campaign today. As we start the bulletin, we appeal to our listeners to stay safe from COVID-19 by following these 4 simple steps. Get fully vaccinated. Wear a face mask. Maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing. And focus on hand and face hygiene. As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events is being organized by the government as a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as a Janutsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in Morning News since the 16th of August that is, and will continue till the 15th of August this year. India Post has joined hands as the logistics partner with All India Radio News for the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. Recalling our yesterday's question, name the revolutionary who established Dipali Sangh in 1923, an association to empower women socially, politically, and to make them financially independent. She also established Mahila Atmaraksha Fund, one of the first women self-defense martial arts groups. The correct answer is Leela Roy, whose radical ideas made her a threat to British rule. She took part in the civil disobedience movement and was arrested in 1931. She also started Jayashri, a magazine for women run by women. AIR News got an overwhelming response from its listeners across the world, and the one lucky winner of the quiz is Shweta Nahar from New Rajendra Nagar, Delhi.
I'm completely overwhelmed. I don't have any words to say thank you. India's struggle for the independence has been one of the most glorious and which the modern world has ever seen. I have been ardent and staunch listener of All India Radio since the past 15 years, and I listen to all kinds of programs, and I'm really thankful that India is celebrating 75 years of independence this year. There couldn't have been a momentous occasion for me by, participating in this quiz and winning this quiz all over. I'm again thankful to the All India Radio for organizing this particular quiz.
And coming to our 64th question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz in English. In Search of Freedom is an autobiography of which revolutionary? He was part of the Hindustan Republican Association and Revolutionary Socialist Party. May I repeat the question? In Search of Freedom is an autobiography of which revolutionary? He was part of the Hindustan Republican Association and Revolutionary Socialist Party. Listeners can send their responses to the question over WhatsApp on 8826546262. That is 8826546262. Or through email on amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. That is amritmahotsavquiz@prasarbharati.gov.in. And now the news in detail. The second India-Australia Virtual Summit was held yesterday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Australian counterpart, Scott Morrison, took stock of the progress made on various initiatives under the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. The leaders discussed views on regional and international issues. In his opening remarks at the summit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, in the last few years, the relations between India and Australia have made remarkable progress.
पिछले कुछ वर्षों में हमारे संबंधों में उल्लेखनीय प्रगति हुई है। ट्रेड और इन्वेस्टमेंट, डिफेंस और सिक्योरिटी, एजुकेशन और इनोवेशन, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, इन सभी क्षेत्रों में हमारा बहुत करीबी सहयोग है। कई अन्य क्षेत्र जैसे क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स, वाटर मैनेजमेंट, रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, कोविड-19 रिसर्च में भी हमारे बीच कोलैबोरेशन तेजी से बढ़ा है।
He welcomed the announcement of the establishment of a Centre of Excellence for Critical and Emerging Technology Policy in Bangalore. Mr. Modi said the conclusion of the Comprehensive Economic Cooperation Agreement will be important for our economic ties, economic revival and economic security.
हमारे कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव इकोनॉमिक कोऑपरेशन एग्रीमेंट सीका की बहुत कम समय में उल्लेखनीय प्रगति हुई है। मुझे पूरा विश्वास है सीका का शीघ्र समापन हमारे आर्थिक संबंधों, इकोनॉमिक रिवाइवल और इकोनॉमिक सिक्योरिटी के लिए बहुत महत्वपूर्ण होगा। क्वाड में भी हमारे बीच अच्छा सहयोग चल रहा है। हमारा यह सहयोग फ्री, ओपन और इंक्लूसिव इंडो पैसिफिक के प्रति हमारी प्रतिबद्धता को दर्शाता है।
India and Australia have decided for establishment of annual summit between the two countries. Both nations also announced establishment of General Rawat India-Australia Young Defence Officers Exchange Programme. There will be similar tax benefits for investments by Australia's sovereign and pension funds in India as in Australia. An MOU on co-investment in Australian critical minerals projects between Khanij Videsh India Limited, KABIL India, and Critical Minerals Facilitation Office, CMFO Australia, has been signed. A letter of intent regarding migration and mobility partnership agreement has been signed. Another letter of arrangement between India and Australia for educational qualifications recognition has been signed.
India's public service broadcaster Prasar Bharati has signed a Memorandum of Understanding MOU with Australia's public service broadcaster Special Broadcasting Service SBS yesterday to boost cooperation in the field of broadcasting. This will help expand the reach of DD News, DD India and multiple language services of DD News amongst the Indian diaspora in Australia. Through this MOU, the two broadcasters will explore opportunities in co-production and joint broadcasting of programs spanning multiple genres. They will also exchange programs of radio and television content in the fields of culture, education, science, entertainment, sports, news, travel, music and arts. Both public broadcasters will also exchange professionals and organize their training to share knowledge on technical know-how and program production. They will provide facilities and general assistance, including supply of information and other organizational and technical assistance to each other. India and the US have reaffirmed their commitments to a free, open, inclusive, peaceful and prosperous Indo-Pacific. The Ministry of External Affairs said this after Foreign Secretary Harshvardhan Shringla and US Under Secretary of State for Political Affairs Victoria Nuland co-chaired India-US Foreign Office Consultations FOC in New Delhi yesterday. Following up on Prime Minister Narendra Modi's discussions with President Joe Biden in Washington DC in September last year, the two sides reviewed progress in various domains under the India-US Comprehensive Global Strategic Partnership. According to the statement, both sides welcomed regular high-level dialogue and engagement, including productive meetings of bilateral mechanisms, which led to intensifying of cooperation across all pillars of the bilateral agenda.
BJP has announced the names of Chief Ministers of Uttarakhand and Goa. Pushkar Singh Dhami in Uttarakhand and Pramod Sawant in Goa will be Chief Ministers for their second consecutive terms. The legislative party of the newly elected MLAs of both the states elected their leaders yesterday, 11 days after the assembly election results were announced. In Uttarakhand, Mr. Dhami met Governor Gurmeet Singh at Raj Bhavan yesterday to give letter to form the government in the state. It is expected that the swearing-in ceremony will be held tomorrow in Parade Ground, Dehradun. The party's central observer and Union Minister Rajnath Singh announced the name of Pushkar Singh Dhami as leader of the BJP Legislative Party yesterday. Union Minister Meenakshi Lekhi, BJP Rajya Sabha MP Anil Ballooni and others were also present during the meeting. Earlier, Governor Gurmeet Singh administered the oath of office and secrecy to pro tem Speaker Banshidhar Bhagat at Raj Bhavan. After that, Mr. Bhagat administered oath to newly elected MLAs in the Assembly. Congress MLA Tilak Raj Behar did not take oath due to ill health. BJP has stormed back to power for an unprecedented second successive term in the Hill state, winning 47 seats in the 70-member Legislative Assembly. In Goa, the name of Dr. Pramod Sawant as the Chief Minister was announced after the BJP Legislative Party meeting in Panaji last evening. Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar announced the name of Dr. Sawant in a press conference. Dr. Pramod Sawant expressed happiness and thanked Central as well as local leaders for expressing faith in him.
सीएम होने का मौका मुझे फिर से एक बार दिया। मेरे पार्टी स्टेट पार्टी लीडर सदानंद सानवड़े और मेरे पार्टी के सभी विधायक इन लोगों ने मेरे ऊपर भरोसा किया है। फिर से एक बार 5 साल के लिए मुख्यमंत्री होने का मौका मुझे एक बार दिया, मेरे पर विश्वास रखा, इसीलिए मैं सबका धन्यवाद देता हूँ। गोवा में माननीय मोदी जी का विजन आत्मनिर्भर भारत जो स्वयंपूर्ण गोवा में कन्वर्ट करने के लिए जो स्वयंपूर्ण गोवा 2.0 आगे बढ़ेगा। निश्चित रूप से माननीय मोदी जी का विजन नव भारत निर्माण और नव गोवा निर्माण के लिए हम सभी एक साथ और ट्रांसपेरेंसी के साथ, गुड गवर्नेंस के साथ, जीरो करप्शन के साथ काम होगा।
UGC Chairman M. Jagdish Kumar has said that central universities will have to use Common University Entrance Test (CUET) scores to admit students to undergraduate programs this year. Briefing media in New Delhi yesterday, Mr. Kumar said from the 2022-23 academic year, the National Testing Agency NTA will conduct the CUET for undergraduate and postgraduate programs. He said the syllabus of the CUET will be mirrored with the Class 12 model syllabus of the NCERT. The UGC chairman said the CUET will be conducted in the first week of July. Talking to AIR News, educationist Dr. Sant Chaudhary said,
UGC has taken decision that there will be a combined test for admission for a student. All students will be benefited. They are feeling very happy because all central university will have uniform facility, uniform rules to provide the admission to the student. So this common entrance test will help a lot our students. So this is a very good step taken by UGC, and I hope this will be very fruitful for our students.
The application process for undergraduate CUET will commence from the first week of April. The CUET will have Section 1A, Section 1B, General Test, and domain-specific subjects. Section 1A, which will be compulsory, will be in 13 languages, and candidates can choose the language of their choice.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds second India-Australia virtual summit with his Australian counterpart Scott Morrison. The two countries agree to boost cooperation in crucial areas like critical minerals, water management and education. India and the US reaffirmed their commitment to a free, open, inclusive, peaceful and prosperous Indo-Pacific. BJP retains Uttarakhand and Goa Chief Ministers for second consecutive term. Prasar Bharati signs Memorandum of Understanding with Australia's public service broadcaster to boost cooperation. University Grants Commission makes common entrance tests mandatory for all central universities. World Water Day is being observed today. In the Women's World Cup, match between India and Bangladesh underway at Seddon Park in Hamilton. And in Swiss Open Badminton, PV Sindhu, Saina Nehwal and Kidambi Srikanth to begin their campaign today. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
अपने बिजनेस को बढ़ाने के लिए लीजिए आकाशवाणी का सहयोग और दीजिए उसे बुलंदियों के पंख।
आपका बिजनेस लोकल है या राष्ट्रीय, आकाशवाणी देती है उपभोक्ताओं तक पहुंचने का हर विकल्प।
और अब तो आप घर, दफ्तर या दुकान पर बैठे बैठे कर सकते हैं आकाशवाणी के किसी भी केंद्र के लिए विज्ञापनों की बुकिंग।
आकाशवाणी के विभिन्न चैनलों पर विज्ञापन देना सुलभ और सस्ता।
बुकिंग है तो संपर्क करें 8700014242 पर।
8700014242 4242।
In the Lok Sabha today, there will be further discussion and voting on the demands for grants under control of the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways. Discussion and voting is also scheduled on the demands for grants under control of the Ministry of Civil Aviation and Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. In the Rajya Sabha today, there will be general discussion on the budget of Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. The Jammu and Kashmir Appropriation Bill 2022 is scheduled to be taken up in the upper house. There will be discussion on the working of the Ministry of Railways and Ministry of Labour and Employment. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, a 36-member delegation from the Gulf countries has arrived in Srinagar to strengthen ties and look at the investment opportunities in the region. The group visited Pahalgam in South Kashmir's Anantnag district yesterday and had local sightseeing of tourist destinations there.
Bihar is today celebrating its 110th Foundation Day. The state of Bihar was carved out from the Bengal presidency on 22nd March in 1912. This day is being celebrated as Bihar Divas. The theme of this year's event is Jal Jeevan Haryali. Altogether, 18 departments of the state and different organizations are participating in the mega event. A drone show will also be organized in which 500 drones will fly together. Governor Phagu Chauhan and Chief Minister Nitish Kumar have congratulated people on the occasion of Bihar Divas. Mr. Kumar will address people of the state on this occasion this evening. President and Prime Minister have greeted people of Bihar on the occasion of the State Formation Day. In a tweet, Mr. Kovind said Bihar has a glorious past and rich cultural heritage. He said the hard-working and talented people of the state have contributed significantly in the developments of the country. Mr. Kovind said, as the Governor of Bihar, he has received immense affection from the people there. The President conveyed his best wishes to the people of Bihar on this special occasion. In a tweet, Prime Minister Modi wished that Bihar, which is rich in historical and cultural heritage, continues to set new records of development.
Today is World Water Day. The day focuses attention on the importance of fresh water and advocates for the sustainable management of freshwater resources. It raises awareness of the 2.2 billion people living without access to safe water. It is about taking action to tackle the global water crisis. A core focus of World Water Day is to support the achievement of Sustainable Development Goal 6, Water and Sanitation for All by 2030. The theme of this year is groundwater, making the invisible visible.
On World Water Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called upon everyone to reaffirm the pledge to save every drop of water. In a tweet, Mr. Modi said our nation is undertaking numerous measures like Jal Jeevan Mission to ensure water conservation and access to clean drinking water for the citizens.
And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News, Birth of a Nation.
India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of the struggle every day.
Their Excellencies the Viceroy and Marchioness of Linlithgow greet Sir Stafford Cripps on his arrival at New Delhi for consultations with leaders of Indian political parties.
On the 22nd of March 1942, Cripps' mission headed by senior British Minister Sir Stafford Cripps came to India. The British government wanted to secure Indian cooperation and support for their efforts in World War II, and Stafford Cripps worked to keep India loyal to the British war effort in exchange for a promise of elections and dominion status once the war was over.
Cripps discussed the proposals of dominion status, which he had drafted himself, with the Indian leaders and published them.
The Indian National Congress rejected his proposals. No middle ground was found and the mission failed. Congress moved towards the Quit India movement and refused to cooperate in the war effort. In response, the British imprisoned the Congress leadership for the duration of the war.
দিনের শেষে ঘুমের দেশে ঘুমটা পড়া ওই ছায়া.
We are also remembering legendary freedom fighter Masterda Surya Sen, who was born on the 22nd of March 1894 at Chittagong, now in Bangladesh. He is best known for leading the 1930 Chittagong Armory raid.
Surya Sen was above the parochial views prevalent in the society and gave prominent place to women in his revolutionary army. He said,
"Many among my countrymen may be shocked to learn how a woman brought up in the best tradition of Indian womanhood has taken up such a horrible deed as to massacre human lives. I wonder why there should be any distinction between males and females in a fight for the country's freedom. If brothers can feel for their mother country and can fight for her cause, why not the sisters?"
The manifesto of the Indian Republican Army, formed by Masterda, declared its intention to stand against the repression by the British people and their government, which they had followed as a cruel policy to keep the 300 million Indian people subjugated for unlimited time and eradicate the slightest trace of nationalism and national originality amongst them. It said the right of ownership of India and the control of destinies belong to the people of India only, and the long usurpation of that right by a foreign people and the government has not extinguished that right, nor it ever can.
যারা যাবার গেছে পারে ঘরেও নহে পারেও নহে যে জন আছে মাঝখানে.
After successfully leading the revolutionary movement, Surya Sen was finally caught by the British. He was executed on the 12th of January 1934 in Chittagong District Jail. Surya Sen's dead body was said to be burned in the boiler of a ship. All India Radio salutes the great martyr.
We also remember freedom fighter Hanuman Prasad Poddar, who died on the 22nd of March 1971. Born in 1892 in Ratangarh, Rajasthan, Poddar was affectionately known as Bhaiji.
Poddar waged a struggle to boycott foreign goods and foreign clothes and started using khadi and other indigenous goods at a young age. Poddar was arrested for revolutionary activities along with other freedom fighters from Bengal on charges of treason. After completing his jail term, he moved to Mumbai under the inspiration of Jamna Lal Bajaj and met nationalists including Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Mahadev Desai and Krishna Das.
Founder of Gita Press, Gorakhpur. Mahatma Gandhi also praised him for his work in instilling pride in India's glorious history and philosophic heritage among people. We salute the great nationalist.
That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
Dr. S.S. Kale, head of the Department of Neurosurgery, AIIMS, has stressed on the need to create awareness among the family members with regard to organ donation of those patients who have been declared brain dead after head injury in accidents. Interacting with media as part of the World Head Injury Awareness Day, Dr. Kale said that out of the total accidents, around 15% of them sustain severe head injuries who, after clinical assessment, are declared brain dead.
लोगों को ये नहीं लगना चाहिए कि ब्रेन डेड अलग है, बाकी का शरीर जिंदा है, सिर्फ ब्रेन खत्म हो गया. ऐसा नहीं है. अगर ब्रेन स्टेम डेथ हो चुकी है तो वो मौत है, ही इज डेड. क्योंकि मौत सर्टिफाई करने के पैमाने बदल गए हैं. अब ब्रेन स्टेम करंट पैमाना है. तो अगर ब्रेन स्टेम डेथ हुई है तो वो मौत है. तो ये कहना एक लेवल पे गलत है कि वो ब्रेन डेड है. ही इज डेड और डेड पर्सन का अंगदान होगा.
Top Indian shuttlers PV Sindhu, Saina Nehwal and Kidambi Srikanth will be in action at the Swiss Open 2022 beginning in Basel today. In the women's singles first round matches, two-time Olympic medalist Sindhu will face world number 32 Line Højmark Kafetz of Denmark, while Nehwal will face 7th seed Wang Zhiyi of China. Srikanth will face a qualifier in his men's singles opener. Swiss Open will also see participation of players like Sai Praneeth, H.S. Pranoy, Parupalli Kashyap, Sameer Verma and Akarshi Kashyap in the singles.
In the Women's World Cup, India were 164-4 in 37.3 overs a short while ago against Bangladesh in a must-win match at Seddon Park in Hamilton. India have won the toss and elected to bat first. India lost both their openers in quick succession after a 74-run opening stand between them. Smriti Mandhana was out for 30 runs while Shefali Verma made 42. India made one change in the playing 11 as it brought in Poonam Yadav in place of Meghna Singh. Deep depression formed over the North Andaman Sea has weakened in the last few hours and is moving northwards towards Myanmar coastline. It has missed the northernmost part of Andaman and Nicobar Islands, is likely to cross Myanmar coast as depression this afternoon. And now let's take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital, Delhi, is likely to have strong surface winds during daytime. Temperature will vary between 20 and 36 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a mainly clear sky. The maximum temperature was 23 degrees and the maximum is expected to be 35 degrees and minimum 23 degrees. Chennai is likely to have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Kolkata will have mainly clear sky. Port Blair will have generally cloudy sky with one or two spells of rain or thunder showers.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Prime Minister Modi and Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison review Ladakh, Ukraine crisis, headlines The Asian Age. Indo-Pacific should be free of conflicts, says Morrison, reads the Hindu headline. Delhi Doha Qatar Airways flight makes emergency landing in Pakistan after smoke was detected in its cargo section, reports the Hindustan Times. The airway spokesperson says a separate flight was being arranged to fly the passengers to Doha, writes the paper. The first ever common entrance test for admission to undergraduate programs in all 45 central universities will be held in July. Class 12 marks won't count, reports the Indian Express. Centre studying if boosters can be given to all over 18, writes the Times of India. China air crash sets mountain on fire, 132 feared dead, reports the Pioneer. And finally, analysis of IMD data shows average maximum temperature in the country historically reached in mid-April have already been breached in mid-March, pointing to an unusually early onset of summer this year, writes the Hindustan Times.
Before we end the bulletin, a reminder of today's question of the Amrit Mahotsav quiz. In Search of Freedom is an autobiography of which revolutionary? He was part of the Hindustan Republican Association and Revolutionary Socialist Party. WhatsApp your response on 8826546262. Celebrate 75 years of India's independence by participating in Amrit Mahotsav quiz with AIR News. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds second India-Australia virtual summit with his Australian counterpart Scott Morrison. The two countries agreed to boost cooperation in crucial areas like critical minerals, water management and education. India and the US reaffirmed their commitment to a free, open, inclusive, peaceful and prosperous Indo-Pacific. BJP retains Uttarakhand and Goa Chief Ministers for second consecutive term. Prasar Bharati signs Memorandum of Understanding with Australia's public service broadcaster to boost cooperation. University Grants Commission makes Common Entrance Test mandatory for all central universities. World Water Day is being observed today. In the Women's World Cup, match between India and Bangladesh underway at Seddon Park in Hamilton. And in Swiss Open badminton, PV Sindhu, Saina Nehwal and Kidambi Srikanth to begin their campaign today. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.gov.in and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.